modified the Exxon logo into the international no symbol, kind of quadrupled. And there was that double X aspect, and you guys all tore the sleeves off and wore it on stage, and I tell you, that was the highlight of my life. I really want to thank you guys for doing that night.
That's cool. Hang on. Si, do you remember that?
I do, yeah. What we'll do for a clean T-shirt when you're on the road, it's nothing like a piece of clean laundry.
I knew there was a good reason for it, but I always appreciated you guys in basically a vast carpet of musical similarity. You guys really stood out, and Stand or Fall was one of my favorites, which applies to a lot of things going on tonight. The revolutions around the world, all the way to what I call mad as hell Wisconsin. The folks there really standing up for their labor rights. And I believe that's what that song is about. Was there a specific occurrence that led to the writing of that song? And thanks again for wearing those Exxon shirts.
Yes, my pleasure. Well, yeah, if I recall correctly, back then Reagan and Thatcher were having their little powwow about a limited nuclear warfare, and Europe was the theatre where this limited little nuclear war could be where the superpowers would sort out their beef. And I was just feeling so impotent. Because there we were, they were talking about our land and our lives as if we didn't exist. And I just felt that we really had to sort of stand up and be counted in a way. And for me, the way to do that was through music. But I was tickled pink the other day was when Mubarak's regime was tumbling. I think the Drudge Report used "Stand or Fall" as a slogan under a picture of the pyramid. They had it up there for 3 days. I was like, whoop-de-doo. But I don't think I could take credit for the full phrase. It has been around in the language for a long time, and it was kind of a stiff upper lip, and we must better to
Right, but you freshened it. I think you gave it honestly.
I think it's generational remix, put it that way.
You got to take that whenever you can. In fact, what would be your favorite references to your music, where something from the Fix has been used either in pop culture, in a movie, as part of a news package?
Yeah,
anything else?
I think there was an English professor using Letter to Both Sides in one of his courses, and he ran it for 3 or 4 years, and it was kind of required reading for the students. I was like, wow.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was a kind of a bipartisan way, but he was showing people that you have to write, and you have to be vocal, and you have to let people know you exist if you want to be heard.
I love that. Now, this is weird. We're going to go from Jeff in Elk, California, who we just had on, to Jeff from Elk Grove, California.
Wow.
On Coast to Coast. Jeff from Elk Grove. You're a different Jeff, correct?
As far as I know, I am. How are you, Ian?
And it's a different elk. I'm assuming the same elk? Okay, maybe it's the same elk.
I don't know. They might wander quite a ways. I don't know.
You're talking with Cy Curnin. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, that's really great. Cy, thanks a lot for coming on tonight. It's a lot of fun to hear you.
My pleasure.
And what an amazing thing you accomplished with the Fix. And I just have kind of a more general question, and that is, in terms of your career with the band, what would you consider to be maybe the high point for you personally, and maybe what might be the lower point for you in terms of your career in the band?
Right. Well, the high point for me right now is that we've just managed to record a new record, and I think it's probably the best thing that we've ever done. But I would say that, but it really is, because I think we've finally understood what our calling is, and to have a relationship with these guys for over 30 years and see the world, the way it's been through. We've seen cycles come, revolutions come, and revolutions go, and to be able to still write actively against that backdrop is a thrill. The lowest points in my career are probably just realizing how many dumb mistakes I've made, and we could have peaked a little further, we could have gone a little further at certain times, but we didn't. For example, not doing the Live Aid show in the States when we were invited to do that. Our manager says, no, you've got to go and finish the record.
Okay, that was dumb.
Very, very dumb, I thought. So,
yeah.
It was one of those moments. So, live, love, laugh, eh?
Yeah, no, I get that. And actually, let me push you a little further on that, too, because that would seemingly have been something that fit very well into your personal philosophy and kind of what you're still doing to this day.
It really did, and I felt like my hands were tied, but the record company and the management were really, saying we've got to get this record out within a month, and the budget was this, and to top it off personally, my wife was just about to drop our first son. And so I kind of maybe selfishly thought, what if the baby comes out when I'm over there?
Right.
So my decision, you know, I didn't think clearly. I wasn't as sharp on my game as I could have been. I should have been really brutally honest and just gone.
Oh, well.
But, you know,
Well, actually, certainly with the wife part, that complicates everything. So I don't know that you made the wrong decision there. But that, I mean, you got to be around a little bit, and I think that you may have erred on the side of caution. Did she end up having the baby on the weekend of Live Aid after all?
No, she didn't. She was 15 days late.
Okay, well, never mind that. All right, but okay, and when it came to the band, you know, the Fix, I know, like some bands, you know, some people say, well, they never really break up, or we get back together again from time to time, or who knows, we'll put out another album, or whatever. And I know that you remain friends, but what is that experience like when a band that had been successful stops getting a record deal, or you stop wanting to do the deal you have?
Yeah, well, it's very real. You know, you kind of, it's feast or famine, this business, and I think that if you can accept the rejection and get on with it and really analyze why you're doing it in the first place, which is yourself, and the reasons you got into it at the beginning were, you know, you didn't know what the future was. As soon as you start second guessing what the future is, your art's going to suffer. I mean, it's art, parentheses.
Right.
If you've got your eye off the ball, then you should be really looking into inside and doing it there first and then applying it. So, you know, you come off the road and musical taste change. I think for us, by the end of 1991, grunge was coming in and radio stations weren't so hot to hear what we had to say or what the next record was. And that's life. You know, you kind of either you're going to stand the pressure and keep going. And we took a couple of years off because a lot more children were born at that period, and we had to spend the money that we paid. So,
right.
But we kept the friendship going, and by 94, 95, we were making records again. You know, we've just been off in a dark orbit. But I think right now we have a new record coming out in May called Beautiful Friction. Like I said, I'm so proud of it. I can't wait for you to hear it.
Will you make sure you get a copy of that in our hands?
Oh, I will do.
And you know, we'd love to be able to pop on something from that and continue this conversation with you sometime in the future. Does that sound like something you'd be willing to do?
Yeah, I'd love to. You know, and now with all the social media and stuff, people can look us up on Facebook and they can find us and they can see what's going on, and it's, you know, we're just around the corner.
Well, I hope that they do that. They can start by linking up to Cy Curnin through coasttocoastam.com and to take a look at the touring schedule. If you happen to be around Aspen in that first week of April, that'll be a show worth catching. And this will be a show worth telling other people about who are Fix fans so they can go back and listen to it. Thank you so much, Cy.
My pleasure, Ian. A real pleasure.
Well, really, thank you so much for your candid answers and the conversation, and I look forward to having a Fix of you again sometime in the future. God bless you. Thank you so much. And coming up, Marjorie Wildcraft on self-sustaining gardening. You can, with some interesting asterisks, next on Coast to Coast.